let's talk a little bit about because this is kind of, I don't want to say that question led into this, but obviously what's around the corner is the budget hearings.
Right, right.
And those can be very long, very contentious at times.
Mm-hmm.
You also made a proposal here within the last week. I think it was a week ago today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was
Monday.
a week,
It was Monday.
a week ago Monday this past week, about bringing in some of the rainy day funds and to make up for the shortfalls in revenues.
Right. I mean, see, so here's, on that specific topic, we have been cutting and slicing the city's budget for several years. To me, the reason we were doing that was to prepare for having less revenue. It was sort of, to me, like a kind of short-term savings account, because the next couple of years are going to be tough, and then I think that things are going to bounce back. So I think that it's reasonable for us not to raise the property tax rate, or property tax levy rather, which is what the council has control over. The state sets the rate, but we control the levy, which is the total amount of dollars raised. So it makes sense for us to not raise it, and that's what I talked with the administration about. Again, sometimes you come at things with a slightly different point of view, and the administration agreed, yeah, this is the right thing to do, is to not raise the levy this year, in 2012. So there's that. I think that the budget that I see that they've proposed on, that's the revenue side. On the expenditure side, is basically the same budget that we've seen for the last couple of years. I mean, there's not a lot in there that's wasteful. I mean, it's funny that I have people say, well, I'll support paying property taxes for ABC programs that I think are important, but not for XYZ that I don't. So, okay, well, I have people who say they want the XYZ programs more than the ABC stuff. So, it's not your money, and it's not my money, and it's not Joe Smith's money. Government in a democracy needs to try to balance lots of competing interests and competing values and competing priorities. And so, I've had people who have said to me that they think that spending money on neighborhood streets is a waste of money. Honestly, that's what they said. And I have people who live in areas where there are bad streets who say that they think spending money downtown is a waste of money. So, I frankly don't think that either is a waste of money, but we have to try and find that balance. But there's just not a lot of fat in the city budget. There's some issues. We have health insurance cost issues like every other employer on earth. I'm involved in the ownership of Bomar, which is a local business here in town, a small manufacturing facility. We have extremely high health insurance costs, and it burdens both the company and our employees. And it's, if I knew the answer to it, I'd share it with others because it is a very challenging problem. But beyond those kinds of problems, we have a very skinny staffing levels. Frankly, I'm frustrated that we don't have more folks working in the street department, because that affects our ability to deliver services to my constituents. But again, everybody's trying to do more with less, and that's obviously very important. So I hope that we can approach this budget, and what several of us have talked with the council president about is trying to approach this budget sensibly and not simply allow maybe one or two members who have some sort of other type of agenda to make this some unnecessarily adversarial situation. So hopefully that's what will happen.
And it is basically the same budget, and how many hours have been spent over the last 3 years, and it's been basically the same
budget.
Sure.
And so, I know that Councilwoman Brown, Mrs. Brown, wants us to spend many more hours looking at the same things that we've looked at every year for the last 4 years that I've been on council, 3 years, 3 budgets. And we do need to look at these issues. We're the fiscal body, and we have a responsibility to do that. But at a certain point, then it simply becomes, it's not helpful. It's not helpful. And I hope that our council president is able to enforce some level of control over the process, so that we do have the opportunity to look at these budgets and ask the questions that need to be asked, but not get wound down in the minutia, or frankly allow one member of the legislative body to hijack the rest of us for her own agenda.